Welcome to Successful Philanthropy. I'm your host, Jean Shafiroff. This show is designed to highlight the work of philanthropic leaders here in the United States and then beyond. Today with us, Nancy Houghton, and Nancy is the Executive Director of Health Advocates for Older People. Let's all welcome Nancy. Nancy, it is a true delight to have you on Successful Philanthropy. And I want to start first with a very simple question. What exactly is the mission of Health Advocates for Older People?
Jean, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be here today. We always love being with you and appreciate all the wonderful work you do. Health Advocates, the mission promotes healthy aging through programs designed to facilitate independent living, physical well-being, and greater social action, interaction for both women and men. And
very interesting. And Nancy, I have a question. Where are you based?
We're based really in New York City, and we are mostly in Manhattan and Upper Manhattan. We do some in Queens and Astoria. We partner with the senior center there, and we're reaching out further to Brooklyn. There's so many seniors that are looking for interesting things to do and want to be with other people, and we know how good that is for them. Also, so many of our programs are on Zoom, and so people from as far away as Florida, California, we're seeing are signing in way beyond New York City.
And I think that's really key and very important because this show airs right now in the Hamptons. And I'm thinking, well, there are many people, older adults who live in the Hamptons who might benefit from your programs on Zoom. And can you talk a little bit about those programs online and how older adults can access them?
Yes, I'd love to, Jane. First of all, Health Advocates, before the pandemic, all of our classes were in person and all over the city. When the pandemic COVID came, we immediately put all of the exercise classes online. And we thought that honestly, after COVID, we would be done with that. But we found so many older people really love doing it from home. First of all, even though they're remote, they're with other people and they get to know people that they see in the class every week or every time they're online. So there is a people component to it. And we have about 14 online classes every week. We have Tai Chi, 2 or 3 Tai Chi, 5 chair yoga. We have Reiki, which is a healing energy, bringing energy down through with heat. We have Alexander technique, which is how we carry our head on our spine, and that affects every organ in our body. We've just found recently, I've just learned this actually, that our ear is supposed to be over the top of our shoulder. And many times people, their head is moving forward. And so Alexander technique encourages people to carry their head over their shoulder. We also have dance every week. They do line dancing.
And Nancy.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh, we have a writing workshop. We have a poker game every week. We have a afternoon game every Friday afternoon from 12 to 4. People play bridge, Scrabble, Rubik's Cube, just getting together and having fun. And we really encourage engagement and being with other people. There's so many people who are really alone. sometimes those of us who are with people a lot don't realize how many people are alone. I got off the bus one day and this lady in our program said, Nancy, I am so lonely. She said, my dog is my only friend. And this lady is so special and we just love her. And she's been in the program for about 8 years and made a lot of friends and been very involved in things we do. We also have 2 harmonica classes every week, and music is something that really helps people reach their inner soul. And believe it or not, they can do it on Zoom. We used to hold them in person, and we asked the teacher recently, does the class, would they like to meet in person again? So he did a survey and he said, really they voted that they prefer online. And I think especially in the winter, it's much more pleasant to do it from home than to go out in the cold. So we are always looking for new things. We listen to what people tell us they want. At one point, we had Italian lessons. This couple came up and said, gosh, do you think people would be interested in learning Italian? And actually, I thought it would kind of be a reach. It would be for me. But I said, if you want to try. So they did, and they had a really successful and very well-attended class. People enjoyed it quite a bit. Once COVID came, it stopped and has not, has not come back. The other thing we do, though, those are kind of social getting together opportunities. We also focus on serious things too, about health and wellness, mental health, physical health. We had a seminar series about how to build your network of friends. One of our pastors in the community came and did the program in person, but talking about everyone needs to have 2 or 3 people that they can tell their deepest secrets to, who they would feel comfortable calling in the middle of the night if they needed something, and then learning to be that kind of friend to other people. And then there are various levels of friendship. Some just from church or from a club. Others more intimately. So we're always thinking of mental health and the importance of being with other people and being engaged. I think we all learned during COVID how negative it was, the isolation. And occasionally we're still seeing people that say, I don't go anywhere without a mask and I try not to go anywhere. Well, there are downsides to that too.
Yes, and for our audience, we are speaking with Nancy Houghton. She is the Executive Director of Health Advocates for Older People. And Nancy is discussing not only her charity, but also important things for really older people, and I think people in general. And she's speaking about activities they have in New York City, where they're based, and in the boroughs, and also activities they have available to everyone online. And Nancy, for this audience, I think we're particularly interested in your online activities. And could you give the website? And then I want to speak a little bit about the importance of online activities for all of us. What is the website for Health Advocates for Older People, so that people can get in touch with you, and also the phone number?
Anyway, our website is www.hafop.org. And when you look on the website, you'll see copies of our monthly calendar of activities, and you'll see a lot of pictures of different classes and things going on. So I encourage you to look. All of Health Advocates classes are free. And we do this because we want everyone to participate, and we don't want people saying, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. So Everything is free, and you can either come in person or online. We have an equipment program where we give out gently used walkers, wheelchairs, and those are all free. We have equipment fairs around the city. But for those of you who live out of town, the internet is really fantastic. The classes that you can get onto, you can join the Healthy Aging program online. There's a place where you can click and your application would come right into the office. Also, you can call, and our phone number is 212-980-1700. And
now, Nancy, I have a question, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but
good.
what about the age factor? If someone is younger and say they're in their 40s and their 50s, and they want to join some of your programs online, are they able to? Because I think many of us found during COVID that by participating in Zoom classes, well, we just saved a lot of time. And for someone who's very, very busy, an online exercise class eliminates the time needed, say, to go to the gym and to go back and forth from home or from office or from wherever. And it really saves a lot of time.
That's true. That's very true. So the age factor is people 60 and above can participate in our program. And it's not that we want to leave people out, but people who are 40 do different kind of exercises than people who are 60, 70, 80. We have a lot of 90-year-olds coming to some classes, and people want to stay active. Our group is very motivated. They're really a fantastic group, and they support each other. There's none of this petty stuff. We don't have any tolerance for that because we haven't really seen it. Seniors, our people support each other, and I really love that about it.
Yes, Nancy. Now, tell me, what can a family do if they have an older person who's a member of the family who's kind of down in the dumps, maybe stays home too much, maybe doesn't have enough friends? How can your charity facilitate interaction between older adults, and what do you do exactly, and what do you suggest to families?
Well, I think, you just have, each person is an individual, but with your older relatives, you can ask them, what are they interested in? If they're interested in flowers and gardening, they have classes at the botanical garden, or you can volunteer there. There are a lot of places. If you have an interest and you go find an organization and volunteer there, you'll meet people who are like-minded, who share the same interest. And so that's a great way to make friends. Also, encourage seniors, don't be shy. Say to someone, if you meet them in a class, do you have time for coffee afterwards? It's amazing. I've had so many people in our program say, I've met so many friends at Health Advocates. And I really love to hear that, because that's what we all need as we get older. There's a lot of changes and loss. So I would encourage volunteering and encourage your family members to have lunch with friends, do things with people, be active, and think about who you can help, who they can help. Sometimes we're focused on ourselves. What do we want? What would we like to do? Think about what you can do for other people. There's so many people that need things. Even Ukraine, we were thinking a group of us doing a coat drive for Ukraine. And boy, they need it with the cold weather. So there are lots of suggestions, and just working with being close to family members. And most important is family and friends.
Yes, and I think, Nancy, you're mentioning volunteering and activities out of the home whenever possible. are all very important to older adults and really to people in general, because many people have a tendency now, since the main part of COVID has ended, they have a tendency to stay home more and maybe not to interact enough with older people. Nancy, in our conversation before this interview, you also mentioned how important it was for older adults who are homebound to stay active with people through communication via telephone, via chat rooms, and through Zoom classes. And if you want to elaborate on that, I think that's very, very important and something that not only older adults, but all people can benefit from.
Well, there are so many ways to stay involved and active, and most all of them are positive. I've always think that telephone conversations that seniors can have a very rich life keeping up with their close friends. And I think a lot of people I heard during COVID connected with their college friends or people they went to school with. And it was so rewarding. But I find even myself with about 3 or 4 really close friends that I, make a point of keeping in touch by phone and knowing what they're doing. And it means a lot to me. But as people get older and those that can't get out, taking advantage of the phone is great. And also, if you're able to use the computer, do email with your family and friends, or explore new interests like outer space. There's so many interesting things going on now, and you can find out a lot of that online. So there's a lot to keep your mind busy and active and involved. Don't just sit around and think about nothing. There's a lot.
Yes, and I love that advice. And for our audience, we are with Nancy Houghton, and Nancy is the Executive Director of Health Advocates for Older People. And Nancy, we've really focused on interaction and how important relationships are to older people, and how you provide access to older people so that they can interact with different individuals. You've given great advice. And I also wanted to mention that people often, at any age, we can become a little lazy, or not lazy, but we can maybe stop reaching out to friends as much as we should. And I think it takes a little bit of a push. We have to push ourselves to remain social and to outreach to friends. Likewise, I think that as a person who is interested in helping older people, I think it's important to make the effort to reach out to older people and show that you care and show that you're interested. And you can do this by calling them on the phone, by emailing them, and just staying connected with the older people in your life. Now, Nancy, advice again to families who may have an older adult, and any suggestions that we haven't touched upon that you'd like to offer to the audience?
Well, we've discussed so many things, but I think the most important thing adult children can do is help their parents stay involved and interested in things. And, it's hard with so many families are spread out long distances, but still, communication today makes it easier to stay in touch. And just be aware of how much all of us can help people of all ages. When you go to an event and you see someone standing alone, try to go over and introduce yourself and make them feel part of the group. We've all been in that position before, and it's not a lot of fun. So we can help And continuing to do that when we can really will make the world a warmer and more friendly place.
And you have a number of events that you hold each year to raise funds for health advocates for older people. Would you talk a little bit about them and then give the website for our audience for those who might want to donate or who might want to seek the help of health advocates for older people?
Good, Jane, thank you. Well, first, we do have two events every year to raise the funds to have free programs because, as we say, free programs are great, but they do cost money. We pay instructors, we have all the overhead. And so we were very pleased to honor Jean at our gala in 2021. She was fantastic, very sweet and generous, but at the gala particularly said a few comments that were very, very much appreciated, and tried to get to know a little bit about health advocates, because that's what we want people to know. Is we want everyone to recommend to older adults they know about these programs that are free and a way to participate. So we also have a Jazz in the Garden event in June. So these are ways that we are able to pay for our programs. We also have some foundation funding, some individual funding, and we do have some city Department of Aging funding, which is very helpful. New York City is one of the best places for older adults to age in place because there's so many things to do. And that part is really very special. The government makes efforts to really support good programs.
Well, that's wonderful. And again, the website for those who might want to donate or those who want to get involved with your activities, could you repeat that, Nancy?
Sure, it's www.hafop.org.
Yes, and now if someone just Googles Health Advocates for Older People, the website will come up. Now, what is the phone number if someone wants to call? And is it a difficult process to call to get information?
No, we get many phone calls. It's 212-980-1700. And we're in the office from 9 to 5, and we do answer the phone. We love to hear from people. We've been amazed at when we started the Zoom classes a couple of years ago, people were very leery of how to get on and how to connect. And we're finding that they're becoming more and more able to participate and enjoy the classes. Sometimes they call though and say, would you resend the link? We send all the links out in a daily and weekly email, and that's how people get onto the class. So if you want to participate, and we hope you will, just join the program. It's free to join. There's no cost at all involved.
And thank you, Nancy. You've really been a wonderful guest. And for the audience, we have been with Nancy Houghton. She's the executive director of the charity Health Advocates for Older People. Health Advocates for Older People is based in New York for older people. And it also has online programs that are available to everyone throughout the world, really. And so if you live outside of New York, it's very easy to get involved in programs that Health Advocates for Older People provide. And Nancy, once more, the website for Health Advocates for Older People.
www.hafop.org. And I want to apologize that our motion light keeps turning off. I guess they're trying to save money here. So my apologies.
Well, that always is a good thing for a charity. A charity that wants to save money and keep overhead low is very important. Thank
And
you.
we do that.
And thank you, Nancy. You've been a great, great guest. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Jean.
Thank you again. This concludes Successful Philanthropy. Our guest today, Nancy Houghton, and Nancy is the Executive Director of Health Advocates for Older People. I'm Jean Shafiroff, your host. I'll see you next week.